So, Katt Williams, Ricky Smiley, Cedric the Entertainer, Bernie Mac, D.L. Hughley, Earthquake, all comedians, all good comedians. Some people may like one more than the other, but I think it's safe to say all of these comedians have been successful at what they do at a certain level. Respect. So today I was talking to one of the young guys that I mentor. He's a young entrepreneur, young solopreneur. And of course he brought up the Katt Williams situation and Katt Williams on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp. The country is talking about that. What certain pockets of the country are talking about that. And there are people who have no idea who either one of them, who none of these people are. But I want to make sure that this young man, this young entrepreneur, understood what his focus should be on as a business person, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, and what should stick out in his mind about this conversation, specifically about what Katt Williams was saying on Club Shay Shay. So I finally watched it last night, and I saw the parts that 95% of the people were talking about. The things he said about Steve Harvey here in Birmingham, people were focusing on the things he said about Ricky Smiley. I understand that. I get that. I get the entertainment value of that. But if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, thinking about business, let's try to look at this from a different point of view. Everything Katt Williams said, at least 95% of it, was about business. Ricky Smiley's response this morning, didn't see all of it, didn't hear all of it. But when he started out, it was about business and how they handle business. If you listen to all of the interview on Club Shay Shay, Katt Williams talked about a lot of things. In the second part of the interview, it was mostly about his life, things he accomplished, and there were certain things that stuck out in my mind. Those other things, I heard it, laughed a little bit, but that was it. But that's how I'm set up. I focused on the business things, and I made a little list to make sure that when I talk to my mentee, I share some things with him that he should focus on. Because sometimes in the world of business, entrepreneur, solopreneur, we can pay attention to the wrong things, the wrong people, the wrong information. And that alone is stopping a lot of people from accomplishing what they want to accomplish. I've seen it for years. There are talented people out here with good ideas, driving motivation, but they listen to the wrong thing, they take a wrong turn, and they lose their motivation, they lose their drive, and just honestly, it messes their mind up. So I want to try to give some information on what you should be focusing on based on this Katt Williams interview, things I focused on. So Katt talked about a lot of people, but he talked about himself. It was interesting to me that Katt Williams financed all of his shows, all of his specials. He paid for it. And that stuck out to me because usually when you pay for it, you make the most money from it. So you can find a producer or someone to put on the show for you when you go perform the show. Good money, good move. But if you're the producer of the show, you make more money when you produce and pay for the show. So that kind of stood out in my mind. Another thing I was telling my mentee to listen to, go back and pay attention to, was what Katt Williams said about his name. He talked about when he called himself Cat in the Hat. So he called himself Cat in the Hat, and he got a cease and desist from Disney. Yeah, these big companies, they pay attention. They have people, they have monitors, most of them computer AI, where they look for people using their names and likenesses that they own. Katt Williams got a cease and desist from Disney early in his career about using that cat in the hat. So that's something else that you can pay attention to, where you can learn about rights and ownership Cat in the Hat. Somebody owns Cat in the Hat. Katt Williams had to learn that about Cat in the Hat. And if he had kept using that Cat in the Hat, we probably wouldn't know Katt Williams, because Disney would have hit him for everything he ever thought he would have made. So that's another thing I tried to tell these young men. Some other things I paid attention to, how Katt Williams, how he gauged himself, how he measured himself against other comedians. Katt Williams said that he would see how long a comedian was on stage, then he would count how many laughs that comedian got. Not only did he do that, he counted the minutes that he was on stage and how many laughs that he got. Then he would go back and see what was going on. You have to gauge what you're doing. You have to gauge what you're doing. You have to monitor. You have to track what you're doing. If you're a comedian, you need to be counting laughs. If you're selling food, if you're selling hot dogs, you need to be able to count how many hot dogs you sell. So again, we're paying attention to all of this entertainment. It's entertainment for us, but everything they're talking about was their business. Their business. He was talking about going on an audition for Ice Cube, producers. What he said about Ricky, his reaction to not playing the role of Money Mike, his reaction to wearing the mask on his face and you couldn't see the Santa Claus, if that is true, then that's good. Because if you're an actor, if you're a comedian, you're playing a role and no one sees your face, shouldn't that be something you're concerned about if it's business? So when we're looking at these things, and it's not everyone, most people are good being entertained, but there's a small number of us who are set up to run business, set up to help business, set up to be entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. We're set up to be the leader. We're set up to be the boss. There's certain things that we cannot waste our time on. There's certain things we should not focus on. We have to find out and figure out what to focus on. We need to focus on it, and we need to use it to make ourselves better. So the secret is, there's all kind of information out there. So the secret is being able to find what's right for you. What's right for me may not be right for you, may not work for you, and vice versa. What worked for Katt Williams not gonna work for Ricky Smiley. Two different people, two different areas, both black comics, but two different people, two different directions, two different backgrounds, kind of two different audiences. So that's something to think about. So why are you being entertained? If you're in the small percentage of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, it's okay to be entertained, but remember, this is about business. So why are you being entertained by Katt Williams? Remember what he said. Remember Ricky Smiley's response. Ricky Smiley's response was all about his business. Ricky Smiley is in a certain position, and if Ricky Smiley isn't smart, he's smart enough to have smart people around him. His response was perfect for who he is, where he wants to be, where he wants to go. It's business, y'all. At least for some of us. So if it's business, remember it's business. Run it like it's a business. I hope you do well. I hope I do well. Sitting here in the studio, been a long day, good productive day. Winding down, it's dark outside. Drinking some apple juice. So do everything you can do to grow, make yourself better, help make somebody else better. Business on the ground, y'all. Uncle Boss, appreciate you. Keep moving.